Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Joe Zone on sports. This is the Newswatch 16 update.
Good evening. It's 12 noon right now in the Philippines, and the second of two presidential inaugurations is about to begin.
It could also be the beginning of a civil war. Both President Marcos and opposition leader Corazon Aquino claim to be in charge. Aquino was sworn in as president less than an hour ago. A separate inauguration for Marcos is set to begin any minute. We have more on the Philippines crisis in this late report from ABC's Bob Windsor.
The rebel-controlled television station showed these scenes Tuesday morning. Thousands of Filipinos moving through the streets of Quezon City and Manila to reinforce what has become a citizens' blockade around the TV station and two rebel military strongholds in the capital. Forces loyal to Ferdinand Marcos reportedly opened fire on the rebel TV station just hours before it was to broadcast inauguration ceremonies for Corazon Aquino and Salvador Laurel, who have formed a provisional government to oppose the Marcos regime. The leader of the pro-Aquino military forces, Juan Ponce Enrile, is confident of victory even in the face of civil war.
It's up to the president. If he wants to do that, I think at that point in time, our side would be prepared to undertake such an unpleasant situation.
The Aquino-Laurel inauguration came after opposition members of parliament declared them the winners of the February 7th election. Marcos was to take the oath for another term hours later inside the heavily guarded presidential palace. Troops loyal to Marcos opened fire on pro-Aquino demonstrators outside the palace Monday night, seriously wounding at least 3 civilians. But rebel forces claim they control Manila Airport in the wake of this helicopter attack on a loyalist Air Force unit. And rebel commanders say defections have given them control of half the Philippine armed forces. The White House is urging Marcos to resign to avoid further bloodshed and is offering to help him to safety if he leaves the Philippines. U.S. envoy Philip Habib was reported on his way from Washington to Manila after briefing members of Congress on the situation. Bob Windsor, ABC News.
There will be more on what's going on in the Philippines right now coming up on Nightline immediately after Newswatch 16 update. Nolan?
In our area tonight, people upset over a proposal to build a new school packed a meeting of the Scranton School Board. The board's trying to decide whether to fix 2 old buildings or build a new one. Night Beat reporter Joe Ducey was at tonight's meeting, and he's in our newsroom right now with that story. Joe?
Well, Karen Nolan, 2 of Scranton's 3 public high schools, Technical and Central High, are in need of major repairs. The school board is wrestling with whether to stick with the old buildings or go for the new. Both options, about $15 million. But the people I heard tonight had a definite preference.
You could see the importance of the issue by counting the people who showed up to hear about it. So many that the meeting had to be moved from the administration building across the street to a larger area at Central High. Some of these people were students at one of the schools years ago. Others were concerned because of the traditions and history behind the schools. Central School was built in 1896, but now needs upwards of $6 million in repairs to roof, windows, etc. Technical was built in 1905, but it too needs repairs, major repairs, $7 million worth. That's a lot of money, but some people say it would cost more if the buildings weren't repaired.
These buildings are worth investing in. They have deep symbolic and cultural meaning in the community. When you have good old buildings that have stood the test of time and have architectural beauty, that we should think very carefully about tearing them down.
If the buildings weren't repaired, the option is to build one school to house both high schools and the administration building. Studies completed for the board show that would cost about $22 million. But some residents ask why all this was needed in the first place.
I fail to conceive, after all the many years that we've been paying taxes, how these 2 buildings were allowed to deteriorate to the point of where we are tonight.
That may have got the most applause. Later, there were questions about taxes and how the school district planned on paying for any option. School board members say they're not near a decision. Tonight was just a chance for the public to see some of the studies done. Funding and other questions would likely be brought up later. Karen, Nolan.
Thank you, Joe. Tempers were also flaring tonight in Luzerne County as Wilkes-Barre City Council met with some residents about flood protection. The plan is to clean up 3 creeks in the city and fix damage caused by Hurricane Gloria back in September. They include Solomon's Creek in South Wilkes-Barre, also Mill Creek and Laurel Run Creek in the Parsons and Miners Mill sections. One issue, the Govier Street Bridge. The city had considered tearing it down because it gets clogged with debris and causes flooding. But I heard most of the people at tonight's meeting say they want the bridge to stay. So City Council says it'll look at modifying the bridge instead. But the big question, why weren't the creeks cleaned up a long time ago?
I was in the 72 flood. Men from the state, the government was there. They told us at that time money was allocated to clean that creek. Where is the money?
Have the stream clean.
Council blames the administration in Wilkes-Barre.
We asked that the city department heads come up, the appropriate department heads come up with an estimated cost of what it will cost. We need that. We can't go out to bid unless we have the papers that say what we expect it to cost and what's the scope of the work. Why don't you? We didn't get it.
It is true the city council asked us to get estimates, which we did get for them, but the costs were so astronomical that we had never put it out for bid because we felt we did not have the monies at that time to do that scope of work.
Ironically, if Hurricane Gloria did not hit, there would be no federal money to fix up the creeks in Wilkes-Barre, although because of Gloria, there's a lot more fixing up to do. And if all goes according to plan, City Council says the flood protection project should be finished by early fall.
Some help is on the way to control flooding in one part of Lackawanna County. This is what the Springbrook Creek in Moosic looked like after Hurricane Gloria hit last fall. Residents along the creek say floods have hit 3 times in the past 70 years. But officials told the people today that the government has okayed a flood control project and work will begin next year. People in the Hazleton area may have to boil their drinking water for only about a month. At first, officials thought it would take 2 months to clean up Giardia cysts out of Hazleton's water. But now the Water Authority says work is ahead of schedule and the boil advisory could be lifted within a month. Meanwhile, workers continue to install filters in Hazleton's buildings. This one will filter the water for schools in the Hazleton area district.
The owner of a ski resort in Pike County says things are picking up again after some problems last week. We told you on Friday that the Mast Hope Ski Resort in Lackawaxen Township was closed for 2 days. Last week, the power company shut off the electricity. Well, Mast Hope has paid its $36,000 electric bill, and the owner says things were back to normal this past weekend at the Pike County Ski Resort. For students in the Poconos who are reaching out in memory of the teacher who reached for the stars. The stories as Newswatch 16 Update continues.
Sounds like a taste I can't get off my mind. Sounds good, it sounds crisp, it sounds like a taste I can't resist. Long John Silver.
Your Northeast Nissan dealers got them. The hard bodies. More brawn, less fat than any Nissan truck in history. 15 models to choose from, and each benefit from the new hard body form. Improved fuel-injected performance, increased corrosion resistance, a wider track, removable tailgate, greater visibility, more cab room, a quieter ride, and more. The hard bodies at Larry Heron Williamsport, Bradley Lawless Scranton, and Fred Schuler Wilkes-Barre. The Nissan hard bodies, extra muscle and not an ounce of fat.
The commission that's been investigating the Shuttle explosion will begin 2 days of public hearings tomorrow, and the panel may be in for some shocking testimony. Among those scheduled to testify are these engineers who left the Morton Fire Call plant in Salt Lake City today. Their company builds booster rockets for the Shuttle, and at least one of the engineers warned against launching the Shuttle in cold weather. Tomorrow's testimony is expected to deal with claims that NASA officials did not pay enough attention to warnings against the launch. Some students in our area are paying tribute to the teacher who was killed in the Shuttle explosion. As Newswatch 16's Kathy Bellis reports, some Monroe County students are hoping to reach out to Krista McAuliffe's students.
This is Carol DePasquale, Earth and Space Science teacher at Pocono Mountain High School. She's gotten her students really involved in the space shuttle missions. She was shaken by the Challenger tragedy.
The students also had to deal with the tragedy. In order for them to deal with it, I had to be able to kind of spearhead discussions and help them work through their emotions. It wasn't really difficult to do that in class because it seemed to bring us together more, especially this group, like a family.
The students are following the investigation into what might have caused Challenger to explode last month. They raised $350 in 4 days to buy 6 books about space travel. They're giving the books to the library at Concord High School.
These kids want to take those books to Concord High School themselves to give those students a lasting tribute to their teacher, Krista McAuliffe, and to show them that their loss was felt here.
9th grade student Ed Watto says he felt a great loss, as if he'd lost a loved one.
The teacher on board, Krista McAuliffe, she was like our teacher, and some of the teachers in our school had applied for that. And, you know, because I'm a student.
Susan Cowwade is described by her teacher as a quiet girl. That's why she shocked Deepa Squall with a poem she wrote about the 7 astronauts.
I felt really kind of depressed and felt like I lost one of my own family members.
Why did you feel so personally involved?
Well, they were just helping us and succeeding in the future and showing to everybody that you don't have to be really great to prove something to somebody.
Her poem tells a little about what drove each of them. It ends this way. They had all dreamed to soar the heavens, and their dreams still survive in our hearts, in our minds, and forever in our lives. Kathy Bellich, Newswatch 16, Swiftwater.
And next, meteorologist Tom Clark with the story on the snow.
I wonder how much we're getting this time, Tom.
Well, the schools will be open tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
However, the next storm probably won't miss. I'll be right back to talk about that. You're watching Newswatch 16 Update on WNEP TV, and we're proud to serve McEwensville and all of Northumberland County.
Pickway knows how important quality is in the work shoes you wear. That's why Pickway buyers are so fussy about the leather, the soles, the linings in every pair. During Work Shoe Week, every pair of quality leather work shoes in Pickway stock goes on sale for 30% off the regular price. Choose your style in your size. Every pair, 30% off regular price. Work Shoe Week at Pickway.
Well, I hope all of the homework is finished. I guess I can't use snow as an excuse tomorrow.
Not tomorrow, Karen. Maybe later in the week. Another storm is heading our way for then, but for now, there is a full moon behind those clouds up there. But just a few snow flurries now in the backyard. We're on the fringe of a snowstorm tonight. It's clipping parts of the Channel 16 viewing area, and I'll show you where after we have a look at some temperatures now from across the area. And they vary quite a bit. Colder out to the west in State College, where Ann Shemansky reports 17. Jim Williamson in Mooresburg, Montour County at 26. And Jean Sebastianelli at Music Lake, 24 at her place tonight. At our place, the reading now is at 28. The humidity, 48%. The wind is picking up from the north now. And the barometer is holding steady at 29.89. A range in temperature, 33 and 22 for today. It's kind of a cold day. 36 is the normal high for this time of year. And a year ago today, 71 degrees. Set an all-time record for the date. 8 below back in 1914. Now, coming up next, satellite image. Notice cloud cover over the eastern half of Pennsylvania from a storm system that is taking its heaviest snow on by south of our area. And to the west, clouds break up quite nicely. Farther west, out over the Rockies, they're having some of the warmest weather on record for the month of February, with temperatures in the 60s and 70s today across Nevada and Colorado. But unfortunately, the wind is not blowing from there towards Pennsylvania. But instead, the steering winds are going to be coming down like so. And so look for below normal temperatures the next few days and the risk of more snow later on in the week, as a storm is now developing up here, and it will probably hit us by daybreak on Thursday. Now, for tonight, this is the extent of the snow from the storm heading off the east coast at this hour. It's snowing in Allentown now, and could pick up probably a half-inch or so down that way. But even in Stroudsburg and down towards Reading, they'll see an inch or less of snow tonight. Elsewhere, just a trace, not even enough to measure, as some snow flurries are blowing through town across Pennsylvania at this hour.
We'll see the sun tomorrow. A cold wind will be blowing, and again, nothing more than some snow flurries. No problems for the morning rush hour. Clifford about 30 tomorrow. In Mountaintop also about 30. Ashland 32. Jersey Shore not too far from 30. And dress warm. That wind will be cold from the north and gusty. The sunrise time for tomorrow will be at 6:45, and the sun sets at 5:49. Snow flurries tomorrow, some sunshine on Wednesday, 27. Snow will probably develop Wednesday night and continue into Thursday. Cold on Friday. Good night.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. We now have an update on what's going on in the Philippines. In fact, we have pictures just in via satellite from the Philippines of the inauguration of President Marcos. Here you can see what is going on. Actually, it is Tuesday morning right now in the Philippines. As we told you earlier, opposition leader Corazon Aquino claims to be in charge also. She was sworn in as president about an hour ago, but this separate inauguration is being held for President Marcos. And, of course, things are very confusing in the Philippines. Nightline will have more immediately after the update, and Newswatch 16's Frank Andrews will have the very latest on what's going on in the Philippines on Newswatch 16 this morning at 6:30 a.m.
And coming up next, a computerized guidance counselor.
But first, Joe Zone looks ahead to the baseball season on the Sports Watch.
Burger King celebrates the morning
Good morning.
with a light, flaky croissant sandwich.
Morning.
A hot breakfast croissant
Morning.
filled with eggs
Morning.
and melted cheese.
Good morning.
With crisp bacon, tender ham, or spicy sausage.
Morning.
With croissant sandwiches and more, that's breakfast
Good morning.
with Burger King.
There's the truck, 5 minutes early. Gotta know how Tommy delivers all those papers. Up and at him, Tiger. Now this will get him started right. A little Citrus Hill Select. Says it's got all the vitamin C he needs for a full day. Even more. Hope they know what a full day this kid's got.
Every morning, caring begins with C, the vitamin C in Citrus Hill Select. Every glass has a full day's vitamin C and more. And because Citrus Hill Select comes from the heart of the orange, the sweetest part, this is one vitamin no one minds taking.
Didn't you forget something?
Citrus Hill Select, because caring begins with C.
High school playoff time. Joe Zone's got the action.
We've got that. We also, wait for this, the Spud Man will be coming up in just a few moments. We will go to the Spud Man, but first, high school basketball on the screen. Playoffs tonight in the Lackawanna League. Riverside, Lakeland fighting it out for that overall Northern Division title. We'll go to the scoreboard and check it out. Lackawanna League North overall championship. How about that game? Riverside 41, Lakeland 40. All right, more scores now. NAC, Western Wayne, and Lackawanna Trail also won tonight. Susquehanna and Montrose, the winners in the NAC. West Branch Conference, Montoursville over Jersey Shore. And exhibition basketball, South Williamsport, Mifflinburg won their matches, their games. Warrior Run and Muncie also in exhibition basketball, Loyal Sox and Lewisburg tonight. Okay, let's go to the NBA. I told you about Spud Webb. They're playing the Lakers tonight. First, the Lakers going to work off that overtime game. Inside, Magic Man, Johnson left hand, and scores. Remember the overtime where they won yesterday against the Sixers? They're just a tad beat, you can believe it. Now, watch this. Cooper to Green. Here comes the slam, and that's pretty. But now, watch the Spud Man. Willis out to Webb. I'm sitting right there. I got the shot. Drive in your face, big guy. Score, Webb. All right, one more time. Now, the Spud had 23 points tonight, and the crowd loves him. There's the outlet pass. What do you say? Shall we jam? Yes, the Spud Man, 23 points tonight. The crowd loves it. They're on their feet. Atlanta by 9. Scoreboard in the NBA. Washington beat New Jersey by 10. Atlanta over the Lakers by 9. Cleveland beat San Antonio. Detroit over Chicago. Houston beat Dallas. Now we'll check the college scoreboard. Kansas and Oklahoma. Close game there. Not finished yet. Memphis State won. 4th-ranked Memphis State over South Carolina. Louisville beat South Alabama. Virginia Tech also a winner over Florida State. Ryder knocked off Bucknell. Mansfield lost its final game of the year tonight.
Baseball season is coming soon. As you know, we'll be headed down to Florida for our spring training reports in a week or two. The Mets are already underway down south, and of course, Dwight Gooden is their leader. Gooden has won 41 games in 2 years, and the Cy Young Award last season. Right behind Gooden is Ron Darling, who won 16 last year. He's shooting for 20 this time.
Just like any other starting pitcher. But I think if I pitch 250 innings plus with this team, the caliber of offensive players they have, I think I have a good chance of winning 20.
Every year he's gotten better, more consistent. He's learned more about himself and about what he can do as a pitcher. And, you know, I think he's ready to win 20 games. And I look for him to have a big season this year.
The Mets didn't stand pat after finishing second. They went out and got left-hander Bob Ojeda from the Red Sox. They're hoping that he can be their fifth starter.
I think I'll just glide right in there and just lay in the weeds. Really, it's such an outstanding staff, and they're so young. And just to go in there and just do my part once every 5 days is what I'm looking forward to doing. There's no secret that I want Ojeda to start. I'd like to use him against the Cardinals as much as I can. As far as the health of Bereni, he looks like he's throwing great. And I know Bruce is going to work hard enough to convince me that he's ready for opening days.
Mets will be looking to reach the playoffs for the first time since 1973. Go Mets! 2 days into the Padres spring training, they don't have a manager. Dick Williams, who has managed the team for the past 4 years, resigned today. He led the Padres to their only division title last year before they lost, 2 years ago, before they lost to the Tigers in the World Series. Okay, let's go to the NHL scoreboard. Rangers over Minnesota 5-1. Pittsburgh beat L.A. Final score there 6-5. Fishing game forecast for tomorrow. Joan Benoit Samuelson won the Sullivan Award as the top amateur athlete, only the 7th woman ever to win it. And when you think of Maryland, you think about Chesapeake Bay saltwater fishing. Actually, they have 150,000 acres of freshwater fishing, all lakes.
Ooh, how about that?
Next time, bring your freshwater bait.
Okay, I will.
Do it.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Still ahead, the computer that can help you choose a career.
But first, you can check tonight's winning lottery numbers. The daily number, 464, and the lotto numbers are 4, 5, 14, 15, 19, 27. The alternate is 28. We'll be right back.
There are a lot of tough decisions in life. But wouldn't it be nice to make a decision where you always come out a winner?
Myra, will you be my wife?
I got a Big Mac.
Play McDonald's Delicious Decision. Just pick up a card at McDonald's and choose between the new McDLT, a quarter pounder with cheese, or Big Mac. And the following week, when you come in and buy that sandwich, you'll get the same sandwich or medium Coca-Cola or regular fries free. Make a delicious decision.
Quarter pounder
with cheese.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Use Reynolds Wrap to clean. To clean? Line your pants with Reynolds Wrap, and all your cleanup is a snap. When you cook with Reynolds, you will see your clean same messes easily. Look how easy your life can be when you cook with Reynolds Wrap.
Finally, figuring out your future the fun way.
It seems college students now have a computer for a career counselor. Newswatch 16's Mark Davis reports if you have the questions, a new Penn State computer can give you some of your answers.
39-year-old Judy Brokenshire of Harvey's Lake has found a way to discover her future. Judy is a sophomore student at Penn State Wilkes-Barre, and Discover is a new computer program which helps students pick their future. You type the answers to the questions the computer asks, and it helps with career and educational decisions. That's especially helpful for this mother of two who is changing her career, but undecided on exactly what she wants to do.
Comes up with, I'm still somewhat undecided is exactly what I want to do. And it comes up with all kinds of possibilities that I wouldn't otherwise have. You know, you sit down with the counselor, and she'll give you all those, but it's so time-consuming, and this way it's easier, and then you could go back to her with the choices that you've come up with, and then you can really sit down and go to work.
The Discover program is not meant to replace guidance counselor, just give them a hand. Counseling coordinator Diane Ryan admits it's a gimmick, but a good one. Now, the use of Discover is not limited just to Penn State students. The people here at Penn State Wilkes-Barre say it can be used by the general public. The only thing they ask, that you call to make an appointment before you just show up. Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, Lehman Township.
And that's Newswatch 16 update for tonight.
Nightline is next with Ted Koppel on the latest version of what's happening in the Philippines at this hour.
For the team, thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.